Okay, now we're in the final phase of the war, and these are going to be the decisive battles, where the Iranians have their final pushes, and the Iraqis are able to have significant victories, which will kind of end the war. Okay, so Iran's going to try the decisive push. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to launch an all-out offensive on Basra. Their main goal is we need to capture this city. So these offensives would become known as Karbala 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And these are going to see thousands of soldiers engage in human wave attacks where they're just going to push forward and hope for the best. They realize that they have more men, but they don't have more weapons. So that's their best shot. The Iraqis clearly had superior firepower and were able to push back these assaults. So as they're running forward, the Iraqis had tanks, artillery, air support, etc. In addition, they also renewed the War of the Cities, where they start attacking the cities with airplanes and with the Scud missiles, and they start using chemical weapons as well to punish the Iranians for continuing to fight this war, even though they really don't want to see it fought anymore. So during this 3-month period where the Iranians are using the Kabbalah 5 through 9, we see a death toll of 40,000 dead for the Iranians versus only 10,000 dead for the Iraqis. So it shows you the disparity in troops being lost during this time period. When the Iranians, they do realize that this is a failure, and when they do finally retreat, they're very defeated. It's very clear that their hearts are no longer in it, that they're exhausted, that they no longer have the resources to maintain these all-out offensives that they can do when they're attacking the Iraqi army. So the issue was that the Iraqi army was probably not strong enough to go on like a counterattack offensive to push into Iran. However, they were strong enough to defeat any Iranian military assault. So this is kind of where that deadlock, that stalemate is going to come from, because neither side is really strong enough to defeat the other one. So what Saddam Hussein wanted to do, as the Iranians continue trying to convince the Kurds to create a victory in the north, is he finally wanted to end this Kurdish problem. He wanted to kill two birds with one stone. He gets control of this region with tribes that don't like him, and he also wins the war. So he authorizes his cousin, Chemical Ali, as he's known, to instigate the Al-Anfal campaign. So this is where he's going to drop chemical weapons on civilians within Kurdistan. Additionally, the Iranians tried to break the stalemate by attacking a couple of hydroelectric dams, but they don't really. All they do is they really instigate Saddam to really bring out the chemical weapons. So he's ordering his cousin Ali Hassan al-Majid to intensify the campaign, and he's hitting both the Kurds and the Iranian soldiers with these chemical weapons. And the images of the devastation, they reach the international community, and the international community is so appalled by what they see that they finally start to put pressure on their countries to try to end this war. So now any further Iranian offensives are going to kind of stop, because they realize that the Iraqis have no problem using chemical weapons. So here are a few pictures from the Al-Anfal campaign, and you just see the devastation. Primarily civilians. You can tell that these aren't military men, that these are women, children that are being gassed by these chemical weapons. So Iraq, now that Iran has kind of run out of their ability to attack, the Iraqis are able to counterattack. So they feinted. They acted like they were going to attack in Kurdistan, like a full-off offensive. But really, they quietly moved troops down to the south, to the Al-Fal Peninsula, very close to the Persian Gulf. And the Iranians, they're just not expecting this. They're not expecting an attack. So on the first day of Ramadan, very much like we talked about earlier, where it's a time of celebration. It's like the holidays for them, where they're fasting during the day and whatnot. So the Iranians they try to rotate troops so that some troops could go visit their families during this blessed month for their prayer and fasting time, but the Iraqis catch them while they're not expecting it. And Saddam, they have a tremendous victory. They kill a bunch of them. They take them captive, and they have sweeping success. They're able to retake the peninsula. They're able to push all the Iranians away from the Manjun Islands, and they retake what was left of any resistance in Iraq. They're even able to push for a couple of victories within Iranian territory. So Saddam names this offensive the Blessed Ramadan. It turns into a massive victory for the Iraqis, and they celebrate it. Additionally, they're having decisive victories in the air. During this final push, they have proper air support where they're able to use their airplanes that they're getting from the French and from the Russians. And the Iranians, they just do not have airplanes anymore. They just can't spare any other airplanes at this point in time. So this is going to create Iraqi victories on the ground because the air support was so good. And that's going to make them more conclusive. So we'll finish with another video for the final episodes of the Tank Wars, and hopefully that'll be the last video that we have.